Hello and welcome to Waste Breakfast. We all talk about everything governance, mental health, self-development, and of course, entertainment. My name is God's Beauty Israel, and I'm joined by my amazing co-anchor, Joy. This is why I don't dance from beginning.
Because everything vibe today is just giving and giving and giving and giving. Yeah.
Somehow, I don't even know how to feel this morning because, I mean, Oni's not with us today.
I know how to feel.
I
know you're watching me right now. I feel so...
Okay.
You know the word.
I don't know the word.
She knows the word. Come on, guy. We didn't expect this.
Oh, my God. Right.
Oh, no. I feel so
But,
bad.
I mean, regardless, probably she's not, like, very strong.
I know.
You know, one thing with health is there are times where you feel like, oh, I'm strong. You know, this is, I feel like this is just a psychology. How do I put it now? You know, when inside your head, you're like, you're strong, you can do this.
But your body
is telling you, babe, you cannot do it.
It's very unpredictable.
Do you get? So
it
can't just be. It can be like that sometimes. So probably Oni is not in the best, you know.
Yeah. If you, I mean, trust me, I've tried reaching out to you, but it's not going through. I really hope you're safe. If you're not feeling fine, I wish you all the best of health, my dear. But again, if it's the other side of the game show, if you come back and meet me. You so come back and meet me.
Speaking of health, yeah, I'm wondering how my Muslim paddies are doing.
Your what?
Like, my paddies.
No, your what? Your what paddies?
My Muslim paddies.
Oh, your Muslim paddies. Okay.
I don't understand why you had to make me come back on that.
I had to let you come back, so I know that I'm hearing the right,
you did
right
Chris.
thing. Very well.
I am my Muslim friends. Chongba. You get that one?
Speaking of that,
but
I mean, trying.
Do you get? I feel like it's how many weeks now?
What's the word again? Ramadan what?
Kareem.
Yeah, Ramadan Kareem. I don't know how they deal with it, but I can tell you, I have a Muslim colleague in the office, and the dude, I mean, he's just a shadow of himself most times. So what we try to do in the office, we try to banter a lot, we try to create fun around him, just so he can be lively, because the guy was like, and most of the time, if I tend to give him anything to do, let's say from almost 6 to 6:30, he'll be like, don't do that, don't do that. What's this rubbish? Don't make anything to me.
You know, a hungry man is an angry man. So I mean, sometimes but I feel like I like their perspective to where their fasting is about. You know, I mean, it's not like some Christians that, when they are fasting like this, they can literally do anything. They're not being cautious about it. But when you see a Muslim that is fasting, it goes down to they're not touching certain person. It goes down to they're not doing some things that they used to do. So because my colleague is a very good example. All the things he has been doing. Any small thing, he'll be like, no, I don't want to do it. I don't break my fast. I'm like, okay. So it's the cautiousness for me. It's the fact that it's not just about their religion now. It's just, I feel like it's a personal thing, because they're taking it so personal that even down to, I mean, if he used to do this thing, but now he'll be like, no, I don't want to do it. Don't worry.
So for me, right,
it's wonderful.
Personally, for me, it's a thing of, I love the Muslim faithfuls because they respect their religion down to earth. They respect and they hold everything sacred. They don't joke with it. It's not something they joke about, especially this their fasting, in as much as very inconvenient. I mean, the other day I was on Instagram and I saw Mercy IGB. What's her name again?
Mercy Idigbe?
Yeah, I saw her. And I never knew she was a Muslim.
Yeah, she converted to Muslim. I think sometime around last year.
Trust me, I had no idea about that. But then again, I saw her, she was literally on set, right? She was on set shooting a movie or shooting a content or thereabout. Yeah. And she was still fasting.
Damn.
Like, how do you process that whole thing? The strength, the energy you have to put in the whole work, knowing fully well it's a physical and mental work, and then you're still faithful to it. So it's something I really celebrate them about.
It is. So, I mean, I feel like this is something that the Christians should learn from as well. Because I feel like most people are they're not always being cautious about the things they do as Christians. Because we have like commandments, that things we are to do and not to do, but I feel like most of us just...
And the extra ones that some people think that you should just fall in that. No, there are 10 commandments, and then there are 1001 rules and regulations in Christendom.
You just got it, but let's not even talk about it because trust me, we follow that route. It's a
not
long
in this conversation
journey.
Today.
So yes, today we'll be discussing on the topic, the impact of welfare policies on economic stability. But before we even dive into that intriguing subject, let's take a moment to catch up on the latest headlines around the globe. Please stay with us. You're still watching West Breakfast. I'll be taking you on a captivating journey across Africa with The Punch, Nigeria's prime newspaper. The major headlines read, slain soldiers arrest as families demand justice. Killers won't go unpunished. President vows. Confers posthumous national honor on slain soldiers. Federal government orders benefit payment within 90 days. Families get scholarships. Houses. Chief of Amara Labour Congress faults Abura's return. Labour Party tips Obi for 2027. Defense intelligence teams get 6 months to rescue economy. Shatima, 13 ministers, 5 governors, Dangote, Elumelu, all these drivers kick against Friday deadline, demand extension. And lastly, by the right side of the masthead, crisis hit Echo Disco. Chairman, directors disagree on the interest is the major headline that says slain soldiers burial. Tinubu insists on killers' arrest as families demand justice. So President Bola Tinubu has insisted that the killers of the 17 officers in Delta State, that's on the 14th of March 2024, must be arrested as families demand justice during the burial of the slain military personnel at the National Cemetery in Abuja on Wednesday. That was yesterday. So those police officers that were killed when they went on that peaceful mission to Delta State, in Delta State, right? They did their burial yesterday. Condolence to the families of the deceased,
So rest in peace.
So the families now have come out to say that they disagree with what the government are doing. The government, actually Tinubu, during the time where they went back again to arrest the prime suspects, I spoke about that. So Tinubu said the troops that went there said they will not fight anybody. Everybody can go for their usual outings and do their marketing and all of that. Now the family of the deceased are pained and they're saying no, that all the people that are involved in the killings, they should bring them to book, and Tinubu has, agreed on that. So they are working. Tinubu went on to even tell the leaders in Delta State to fish out every of those persons that were involved in the killings of those military personnel. So that's all I have on the Punch newspaper. Joy, let's hear yours.
Interesting.
It's a whole lot for me. If I say I want to start talking about it, we'll not leave here. So, Joy, let's just hear your headlines.
Some days are just not for Nigeria.
I beg. Let's just go.
Okay, so I will be gathering you this morning from, I'll be leaving the African continent to the international spectrum, and I'll be gathering you from the Daily Telegraph. The major headline reads, King thanks public for extending hand of friendship. And right on that says the Easter message of care and service will be played at Royal Mandi gathering. Now, right beneath that, I have ministers prepared to end court sitting behind closed doors. And right under that, I have triple lock increase wiped out by tax raid. Beside that, it's contraceptive jab linked to brain tumors. And right underneath that, I also have sewage spills blame on wet weather. Beside that is the SNP bill to prevent landlords raising rent. Beside that, I have Israel may never be able to destroy Hamas. And finally, I have that there's a call for minimum wage to start at the age of 18. I wish this was Nigeria. I really wish that was Nigeria. But anyways, the story I really want to review and talk about this morning is a story that states, King thanks public for extending the hand of friendship. Now, the story reads that the king will thank those who extend the hand of friendship in times of need in an Easter message following the royal family double diagnosed with cancer. The monarch will speak of the benefits of a nation serving and caring for one another in a pre-recorded audio message to be played at the Royal Mandi service because he is unable to attend in person. Now, in the Christian address, he will stress the importance of active friendship and rededicate his coronation pledge of service. Now, the story is quite interesting because I've been trying to follow up with the whole King Charles state of health. And it's been quite a merry-go-round story for me. I don't know. I sincerely wish him good health, because if your mom could, stay that long. I get the fact that yes, he's quite old, but then again, it would be nice to see that he reigns for quite a long time.
Just like his mom?
Yeah, no, not even just like his mom. Given the fact that he literally had to sacrifice his active years of life because his mom was still alive and was still in power. So his mom leaving at the age she left, and then he getting into power by that age, it means that he has to start ruling. And it would not be nice if, God forbid, I don't wish him anything bad. I don't wish his reign to be cut short yet. So I like to see him stay at least for the next 10 years and he's still ruling. But aside that, I like the fact that this Easter period, he's trying to utilize it to create friendship and extend a hand of friendship to everyone, especially those in times of need. It shows a leader who is very intellectual. It shows a leader who has emotion and sympathy. Yeah, exactly. That's the right word to use, concern. Because you know that outside just Nigeria, it's not a Nigeria thing alone, but the entire world is facing a lot of chaos, a lot of war, a lot of crises. So everybody's just at the peak of their emotions and the peak of their lives. So it's, the best thing for us to do right now in this Easter period, because Easter holiday is coming fast to us. So aside UK, I think it's something we can also apply here in every part of the world. Nigeria, Ghana, USA, Gambia, name it. We need to look at the Easter season as a season to spread love, genuine love, please. Genuine love, genuine heart of friendship, genuine heart of care. It doesn't hurt to say, hey, God's beauty, happy Easter, how are you? How's your life been treating you? But you know what? I know it's a struggle. I know it's hard. I know it's difficult. But hey, I'm sure we would work this out. We would be fine at the end of the day. Those sort of words tend to heal the soul and heals the mind. So yeah, it's a good one from King Charles, and I'm hoping that this will spread out to not just UK, but to every part of the world.
So yes, like I would always say, there's so many things happening globally.
Of course. And we're here to bring it up to you.
Do you get? We always dish out things that are happening all over the world, so you get updated and you know what's going on, So yes, we'll be going on a short break, and when we come back, we'll be diving straight to the topic of today, ready to shake the table. Please stay with us.
Security is rooted in abject poverty.
Absolutely.
Ethnicity, religious bigotry, and all of that. So until we address all of that, we must understand these root causes and find a lasting solution to poverty. Poverty, talking solutions, it's not about giving stipends of 5,000 naira as empowerment. It's not going to solve anything, because 5,000 naira is going to finish. And then tomorrow they come back. They're back on the street. Yeah. If a policeman lives in the environs of where he's policing, these people are not strangers. They're your neighbors. Yeah. And then it drives home the point that one day it could be your child.
Of course.
Thanks for staying with us. Today we'll be discussing the topic, the impact of welfare policies on economic stability. Remember, you can join this conversation by either sending us an SMS or a WhatsApp message to the number displayed on the screen. And yes, please call in. So the topic of today, the impact of welfare policies on economic stability. So first of all, I think I would like to put a background, or how do they put that in? English is always my problem. Foundation, God bless you. So a foundation on what welfare policies is, because in a country like Nigeria, I don't see a reason why we should adopt the program. That's what welfare policies. But we'll get to there, right? We'll get there. Now, the welfare policies is just talking about those important things that the country, or those programs that the country should adopt, just like employment opportunity. And I feel like these are normal things that every country should do. So I don't think it's something that should be separated. I don't know if you know what I mean. Just like I said, employment opportunities, giving free health, health, what do they call that now? Like when people are sick, you give them the free health care and all of those things. They can go to the hospital and take care of themselves without paying a dime. Even when we have government hospitals in Nigeria, we still pay for it. We buy card, we buy medicine.
And the card fee is sometimes ridiculous.
See, the card fee is almost like you're paying the hospital bills.
And then there's a consultant fee.
Can you imagine? So a whole lot. It just feels like there's nothing is free. So when we talk about welfare policies, it's just like those free things, free amenities, free things that are given to a certain kind of certain individuals in a country, right? So it could be the less privileged, it could be unemployed, it could be probably old people, So there are certain countries that take care of their old people. There are certain countries that I think India has that. The Indian people has that, where houses for like the aged people. I think US has that too.
Yeah. Where
if they are old, you take them to a certain place, they stay there. Then the government takes care of them, takes care of their feeding, takes care of their health, and all of those things. But does that happen in Nigeria? So I mean, it's it's a whole lot to start talking about. But I mean, we'll get there because I want to see even if you're not taking up all of these programs, I feel like there are some programs that should be working in Nigeria. We should not just be left for the NGOs alone or private sectors. Do you get? Sure. In Nigeria here, it's more of the NGOs. And these NGOs are not even backed up by government. The only thing that helps NGOs here in Nigeria is that they don't pay tax. Because, I mean, it's a non-governmental organization, and government understands that, this person, they don't even get money in sometimes, So that's the only place where they are exempted. They don't pay tax. Why every other private sector, and I mean, we pay the company income tax, we pay the personal income tax, pay all, all the normal, like the CETA and all of that. But when it comes to the NGOs, they don't pay tax. That's the only thing I see government doing for them.
So how about we start dissecting? I like the fact that you've laid a very great foundation to this conversation to state what welfare policies are. And in alliance to you, I mean, it includes healthcare, includes empowerment,
a whole lot,
housing, and other programs that can just be geared towards
just
helping
ensuring,
a marginalized set of people in the society, the unemployed, and majorly the poor. But let's come from the angle of let's dissect it, especially Nigeria, and particularly about Nigeria because this is where we are, and guess what? This is our hometown. So we might as well just have to deal with the issue from the house. Now, in terms of employment, Nigeria has a bit. I mean, disclaimer out there. I'm not saying for lack of better words right now. I'm not saying that in all percentage, just a bit. We have somehow shifted the economy of the country to the private sector as opposed to public sector. And guess what? At the end of the day, we still come back to that same private sector and want to like squeeze the life out of them. So we're having economic issues, then you know where it's coming from.
I think what happens is, for the fact that the governments are not taking care of the things they are supposed to be taking care of, their responsibilities, they're not doing it. So since they're not doing it, it's more like everybody has to start doing it themselves. So that's making the private sectors start working themselves out to make sure that they, utilize themselves and make sure that they are working. But now, after these private sectors start doing their thing, the government will still come back to them and tell them, you have to pay tax, you have to pay companies income tax, you have to pay this tax. And guess what? These taxes, Jesus, they like for the percentage they are earning, for I think people above 100 million naira or so, they pay their tax is 30%. For those above from 50 down, they pay 20%. Then those people below 10 million, they're earning like revenue, they're earning their ends for every yearly, right? They pay like 10%. So at the end of the day, these persons that are working for themselves because you're not doing the job, you're still going back to them to pay.
So, God. That's the kind of picture I'm trying to paint that the welfare policies, obviously, right now, it's not looking like something the government is ready to handle. they can handle, but they are not ready to handle. For lack of better words, they're trying to sort out with so many other things that are going on in the country. So how about...
what other things they're trying to sort out that at the end of the day, they still don't sort out?
It's totally left to them. Totally left to them. I don't wish to state that, but it's totally left to them. So how about we now look at the private sector taking up these welfare policies? Because I've seen it clearly that it is not working from the government angle. You mentioned it here, that you get into a government hospital and they're still telling you to pay for card.
You pay a whole lot of things from the beginning to the end.
Why am I paying for card? So I try to analyze that particular fee. Okay, so I'm paying you to go print a card. So what do the governments now do in that space?
Probably just to do the checkup.
I might as well just save up money and go to a private hospital.
Exactly.
That's the point.
Even the government hospital you're going to, it's not like you'll be properly taken care of.
So
there are some facilities that those people don't have.
That's what I'm saying. That paints the picture to say, let's talk about taking welfare policies off the hands of the government and say, you know what, there's a lot for you to deal with. There's a lot for you to do. You know what? What we need you to do now is come as a regulatory body, come as the law, come as the rules and regulations that we need to follow, because at the end of the day, in as much as this is a policy, there needs to be certain rules and regulations that need to be stipulated and just fixed up there so that it doesn't become a mess. And then it doesn't become what everybody just want to trample upon.
And there's no law, there's no
order. Do you understand? So instead of creating a place of chaos, how about leave the job to the private sector to do the work? Or just create the laws and then be an enforcement agency to ensure that, okay, this thing I told you to do, you're really up for it. You're really doing it. At the end of the day, we're still talking about the same thing. Citizen right has to be your priority as a government. Because any government that has citizen rights as its priority and its top major priority would see that their welfare policy programs are working. And that's why today you would keep hearing National Health Service on every international newspaper every single day. And guess what? Until they come to terms to where the nurses are getting what they want and say, this is what we want, you will not stop hearing that story. It will keep every day. I mean, National Health Service is just going to... I have read the story over at some point. I said, I don't want to read National Health Service again. Can you people please just answer them? That is a government that knows that their welfare policies has to work. This is just employment alone. This is just healthcare. Let's come to housing. Can we just start complaining about how ridiculous it is to get a house in Lagos?
Let me start with what happened about last week for me. Now, where I stay on the island, I stay with my seniors, right? We just moved in there. Now the house, according to them, they have put in dates for where it to be demolished. Now, there's people's shops there that they just bought they just did the whole arrangement and all. They have not even started using it, and you're coming for demolition. Now, you do know the painful part. I don't even have an issue with government demolishing these houses. But the thing is, with the owners of these houses, the landlords of those houses get the same the money spent on building those houses. Will you be able to give them the same the amount? That's the problem, because they'll end up settling them with something less. That's the truth. They'll end up settling them with something less, and it's not. I feel like sometimes it's just like you said. They just regard us as certain people that are probably just wasting their time, or people that are not what you just exit somewhere. To be sincere.
Because let me now ask you a question. Now, do you think that with welfare policies, most of the issues we have in the country would be settled?
With welfare policies, now it is.
At least not just the policy. The policy programs. Welfare policy programs. Do you think that it's
if it is well implemented, yes. If it is use the UK for example. You're talking about the NHS, right? Now that program is well implemented. It's not now that they're having some crisis, and that's why you see them complaining. Before now, they were not complaining, and it shows that they have been holding up in a very good way and in a very good standard. In a country like Nigeria, I wanted to ask you about the whole poverty thing and what our best solution to eradicate poverty. Because trust me, even when we infuse this or welfare policies, it literally won't change anything, especially when it is not properly implemented. We already know before that it's the government's duty to give us good jobs. It's the government's duty to help empower us. It's the government's duty to make sure that the old people are well taken care of. But now, none of these things are implemented. So which takes us back to the fact that the governments are not doing their job. So it will only exist, or it will only be worked on properly when we have a good government. Do you get? Trust me when I say Nigeria will not be better, or Nigeria will not change from where it is if the welfare policies are not well implemented. I feel like all these programs, you already have them in Nigeria. But let's leave the fact that the NGOs and the private sectors are the ones taking care of it. Government themselves that know that these are their responsibilities. We are even going too far when we're talking about employment. Ordinary road that they pass on, do they do it well? Is it properly done? Go to the mainland and see roads now.
Okay, so I like the fact that, okay, sometimes it's not just me that agitates about Nigeria, because it can be very, very
It's
appalling.
annoying, don't worry.
Now, why I asked that question is, and I enjoyed your viewpoint a lot, trust me, I really, really enjoyed it. Now, for me, I believe that most of the problem we are having, if we have, just like you said, a very good, structured, proper, implemented welfare policy. Period. You see all these razzmatazz we are having on the news every day, it will stop. And I'll tell you something now.
Okay.
In Nigeria, we have what is called the social protection policy. Now, this is an umbrella that has a framework that incorporates related social agenda programs intended to reduce poverty and provide a life of dignity to all citizens. So there's a program like that already in the picture, which means that Nigeria knows what we are doing.
Definitely.
Nigeria know what they are doing.
That's why I said, of course we do.
Now, the policies, the welfare policy programs we have in Nigeria right now under the SPP is we have education, we have health, we have housing, and then we have personal and social services. Now, let's put these 4 pillars into the thin air, and let's do plug and play. Now, by the time you're having a proper education, to say that we're doing free education to from primary to secondary level, it's free. Go to school. Imagine the set of human beings. Bring it down. Just picture your life without a primary and secondary education. And then you just have to start from tertiary. Do you see that there's going to be a serious struggle?
Definitely.
A very serious struggle.
Definitely.
So now picture a society in Nigeria where that eradication of, I don't have money to attend primary and secondary education is gone, because the government has provided a free, fair education for me, and I do that. And then with that, I come back to personal and social services, which is to say that because of the presence of personal and social services, right, there is an avenue for employment. There's an avenue for job opportunities. So which means that income will not be a bit of issue. It might not be rich, it might not be that high, right? But as far as cost of living will not be high for the cost of living. Will not be high for the living, sorry. Do you understand? Yes. It would be affordable. So at that point, I know that when I'm done with secondary school, I have to start getting means to get funds for my tertiary education. And because I have gone through proper training, not just that is a free education, and then I'm going to come and do half on half or hacking. I don't want to state that thing that happens. Or I'm plugging leave for my teacher. I'm going through proper education. And I'm coming out to say that, okay, I don't want to stop here. I want to go further. It will need me to say, okay, with the kind of system I have in my government, I can work myself out and go for tertiary education. And guess what? And I graduate. Do you see that that reduces hoodlum problem in Nigeria?
Yeah.
So with 2 factors, we have reduced a problem of hoodlumism, if there's any word like that in Nigeria. That one is settled. Now let's come down to the health sector. When I know that the slightest malaria I have, I can go to a government hospital and I'm getting proper care because it's free and fair.
Like,
I'm not just stating it is free, because there are so many policies and health centers you go, it's free of charge, and you go there and you're seeing nonsense. So that's why I'm very key.
Even when Constitution tell you that bail is free, go to the police station.
I don't want to say that.
Go to the police station.
I'm very intentional about free and fair. So as I'm getting it free, I need to get quality, not riff-raff. And then at the end of that, I might just go and pay for it. So if you see that, if we just plug all these things that are happening in Nigeria into each of these sector of welfare policies, Nigeria we will not have problem, trust me. We will not have problem again. The only problem we shall be having might just be a little bit of intertribal conflict and riff-raff, just banter on arguments. But basic problems such as security, basic problems such as kidnapping, that is becoming a story that is trendy.
It's becoming
don't worry.
We
would not have it. So this is, I mean, I'm just trying to bring it to our government that at times you don't need to crack your head so much. Maybe you need to look back to these policies to say, okay, how can we implement this? I'm saying the word we because this is like we are both together in this. So how can we implement these policies? What are the strategies we can use to do all of this to make sure that this now helps our government system? Maybe welfare policy is just the form and model of government we need as opposed to democracy. But you know what? I'm just going to pause here. When I come back, I just want to go and drink water and come back. When I come back, I'm not going to explain to you the positive side. And guess what? There's also a negative part of it. Trust me. Definitely. So I'm going to explain what the positive and negative side of it is going to be.
I mean, I feel like it's not enough for us to just keep talking about this whole welfare thing. Just like you said, if you don't talk about the positive side, maybe these people they don't see the positivity in these things and how to be properly. It has to be properly implemented because it's not enough for you to even tell them, oh, we have these are the positive side and these are the negative side, without you even giving them proper information or proper proper notes on how it should be implemented. So yes, we'll be going on a short break, and when we come back, you know what it is. Please stay with us.
Security is something that tampers with everything. Absolutely. It tampers with the investors coming into. Absolutely. The reason why we don't have enough investors coming into Nigeria or pouring into Nigeria, irrespective of our growing and thriving economy, is because of insecurity. It started with expatriates. Expatriates in Port Harcourt and the likes, on the road they're kidnapping them and they're asking for their ransoms are in dollars. Yeah. And then now you're kidnapping school children. Like, when is it going to end? Are we ever going to have an end to this? It just doesn't make sense.
If you're just tuning in, we're talking about the impact of welfare policies on economic stability. So yes, I mean, I feel like we've talked a whole lot around what welfare policy is about and how it should be implemented, right? The fact that it needs to be implemented the right way. Because trust me when I say we just have these laws. See, it is one thing. We have laws already that are not even properly implemented. I just spoke about the fact that in the Constitution, we have bill is free. Trust me, like, I studied law, so bill is free. But go to the police station, then you will know if that particular statement is probably acted on or not.
See for yourself.
So yes, I mean, okay, now we spoke about what welfare policies are. I feel like we should now speak about the people that these welfare policies should be given to more, or who needs it more. You know, I spoke about the fact that the US, the middle-aged people, the aged people, right, are the people that, like, those people are given a certain kind of care. So same goes to in the India space too, but we don't have that in Nigeria. So first of all, do you think that this welfare policies should just be given to everybody in Nigeria? Because trust me when I say, in a country like Nigeria, the government budget, the government taxation, and all of those things, like the money that they will use to utilize other stuff, would be taken care of, would be taken from it, and it might just reduce all these things. It might just become worse. You know, we already have so much problems at our hand for us to start incurating that kind of policy. So how about we now say, okay, this welfare policy should be given to certain kind of people. So I'm asking you, Joy, who do you think these welfare policies should be given to, and who do you think needs it more in a country like Nigeria?
Okay, so thank you for the fact that you said in a country like Nigeria. I mean, that was very, very direct.
To be fair.
Now, I think that stating that in a country like Nigeria, welfare policy should be sent and passed across all ramifications of people.
Okay.
It shouldn't be specialized or specialized to
certain
a particular set of people.
Okay.
Now, the reason to that is if you decide to say today that welfare policy should be given to less privileged, I promise you, a lot of people that are very privileged, they will tell you I'm less privileged, and it's going to create a chaos. As opposed making it plain and open to everybody. Now, I like to use stories and examples to say things I say for better understanding. Now, let's give a picture and let's do an imagination of, we have a welfare policy of free healthcare in Nigeria, and we have roughly about 10 health centers and government hospitals that does that, right? And I have a problem with my health, and I go to the hospital and I'm looking at the crowd of less privileged that are there waiting to get that. I might as well said, but I can afford this. Let me just go to where I can pay for it and get it done, as opposed to waiting for this. Because then again, I would not want to, because it's free, jeopardize my health to wait on a line. So you see that at the end of the day, I'm not going to be shouting that, oh, they didn't make it free for me, or they only made it free for these people. It was my choice to say, oh no, let me let these people deal with this. Since I can handle this, since I can afford this, let me go to where I will pay for it and get it faster and quicker, and I'm done with it. And I'm not wasting, and I move on to the next thing in my life. Do you get? So it would be nice to leave it open to every ramification of person. Okay. But then again, priority has to be there. More like a scale of preference.
That is what I feel like. That is what I mean.
More like a scale of preference. Because so imagine there's a me there, and there's somebody who does not have penny. You would, even if I was there 10 hours before the person, by rights, it is just normal out of courtesy to attend to that person first before me. So if we can make it open, but then maybe we can just say there are about 70% for the less privileged, and then the other 30% for those who are still well-to-do and the average Nigerian. I think that's what's going to help. And then when your second question that says, should it be left only for the government? I think no.
Okay.
Like I stated this earlier when we started the show, it should not even be in the hands of the government. Okay. It should be in the private sector to handle this thing, because don't you think the government are already...
don't you think it will make things more expensive?
That's where we are coming to. When the government is providing you with the fund, putting the laws into check. So the problem is Nigeria would not live up to expectations. But then again, it would be nice, it would really be nice to just imagine a beautiful Nigeria that has all of these things in place.
Oh, please.
It would really be nice.
Stop assuming. First reality.
Above assumption.
First reality.
In as much as I shout, I still tell people, I love this country, and I know it will be better one day. So I'm just giving an imagination to say a system and a government structure that works, right? Now, it would be nice to leave it in the hand of the private sector to say, deal with this. While I face governmental issues, while I face international issues, help me look at this angle. But I would be checkmating your act and your move. That's where the government now comes in to create the funding. That's where the government comes in to create laws and rules that are going to just guide the way that the actions are going to be carried out. So, yeah, I just feel like in Nigeria, welfare policy should just be left for the private sector alone.
Well, I totally disagree, to be sincere.
Fair enough.
So, I mean, let's even start from the fact that I feel like this welfare policies should be given to certain persons and not everybody in Nigeria. When you say everybody, you're including the rich and mighty. See,
I stated it. In fact, I can give a 70% to less privilege and a 30%. I get even if they are rich and poor, they're not citizens of the country.
But I feel like this is how it should work, right? Now, first off, I feel like in a country like Nigeria, we have so many, like the less privileged, the percent of less privilege in Nigeria, it's up to 80, 90, to be fair.
95.
Do you just say even 95, but to be fair, you know? Now, with this percentage we have, I feel like we should not take it one at a time. That's why you not talk about your priorities. We should not take it one at a time. Now, you give to the middle people, sorry, when I say middle people, sorry, like the aged people, like the old people, right? People that are not strong anymore to even work, right? You help them with a certain kind of percentage. Okay, I would say I give kudos to Nigerians that some of these government workers, they actually have like their pension and all of these things. So they get like a monthly pay even when they are not working, they are retired. Do you understand?
Sometimes it's a struggle to get your pension.
But at least let me still give them that appraisal that okay, at least to some extent, these retired government workers are still being paid, and they still see like their monthly allowance and all of that.
Sorry, what you just said now, are you coming from a government angle? Sorry, from a public angle or from a private angle? From a public angle. My dear, it's private pension system that have been paying more. I promise you for a fact, you don't even want to know what happened in Abia State.
Wow.
It's private pension system that have been paying more.
I see why you now say the private sector
it should be left in the hand of the private sector.
But when it now comes to who should be like holding this whole welfare policies, I feel like it should still be both, to be sincere. Now, when I say it should be both, the government should make sure that, like, when I talked about the government hospitals, the schools, government schools, Holy Ghost, I did not tell you. I don't know if you've actually heard of this, but in my place, right, the government schools there, these students are asked to bring their tables from their house. They're asked to bring those things are
bring hoe. I know a lot of them.
I feel like if it is, when you say government school, those things should be made available. Like, there's a difference where even private school,
which makes me clear to say
there are some private school that they don't ask them to bring all those unnecessaries. When you ask me to bring a table and I don't understand. What am I coming to school for if those things are not made available? Like, why is it a school if there's no table and a chair? Am I supposed to sit down on the ground?
The government will answer that. You might as well ask them.
So, I mean, I feel like this welfare policies is too much for the government to handle, right? So what I now think is it should be shared either a 50-50 or a 60-40. Now, a 60-40.
This that told me I should face reality.
Yeah, that is.
And the reality that is looking at us, staring at us to our face.
That is why
give the government 20%
and the private sector
80%. That 20% will still suffer. It will still suffer.
Oh my God!
So you might as well just leave it to them. All I need you to do is create the fund, create the regulations.
Even creating the fund.
It will be a struggle, but you expect the private to supply the fund, and then it's not going to be expensive. Then it's not a policy.
That is why I said.
You're not looking at the welfare.
That is why I said if you say the private sector should be doing all of these things, it becomes expensive. Because if you say create the fund, from where? No, look at this thing. This is the government. This is the private sector. I will come to you to collect tax from you. Then I will still supply you funds. I don't get. I'm collecting from you and I'm still giving you. It's still the same thing. So instead of, what I would say is, instead of collecting funds, I feel like the percentage at which they are, like the percent of tax that is imposed on them should probably be reduced. From a 30% for the people above 100 should be reduced a bit. Do you get that? I feel like that's what should work. It's just like the way they allowed some of these NGOs not pay tax. It should be like that for some of these private sectors that have very good income revenue yearly.
So let me ask you this question. So let's say, the government decides to implement all of these welfare policies into action and then start working. Do you think that is going to eradicate poverty in this country?
That's a tough one, to be fair. Because in a country like Nigeria, I mean, I keep hearing the whole Nigeria is rich, Nigeria is this, which brings me to, if Nigeria is rich, where are this money that makes us rich? Where are they going to?
Now they tell you now. Sorry, I had to bring in English.
Where are they going to?
Maybe because of the English language I'm speaking, you're still not understanding me. But fine, you're still asking me where they're going to. People are going. They're literally on the move. They're already going. You're still asking me where they're going. Wait, I will give you the Google map to where they're going to. But then again, I'm asking, even if at the end of the day, being that Nigerians are Nigerians, if we end up bringing welfare policies, would they eradicate poverty in Nigeria? Because I'll say it would not eradicate totally. No, because Nigerians,
but sorry, a certain percentage
it's real. Yeah. But that small percentage is still there. So let's look at it from this angle. Okay. A very clear, simple picture. You go out on the street, you're seeing like this person, I don't want to mention any gender, you're seeing a person outside on the street. Auntie, please help me to Yaba. Auntie, please help me to Ikeja. Auntie, please help me to this, help me to that. You heard the person they want. Tomorrow, you see that same person there again. Auntie, please help. You heard the person again.
That one is better now.
And then a question that comes into my head and said, wait, you think you need help in your entire life? You don't want to be the help to another person.
Like.
So, I'm just looking at it from the angle of, I'm not sure it would totally eradicate poverty.
Of course it won't.
Because some people are just naturally lazy. They're not ready to work. Yeah, people are naturally lazy. They're not ready to work because why will a young guy, very young and agile, you are standing in front of a restaurant and you are begging for funds? Whereas you might as well use your brain to say, can I get in there and say, please, you need a cleaner. I can be cleaning for you. Knowing that if I clean for you, at least I'm entitled to 1 meal a day. So 1 meal a day has been settled. I'm working and I'm getting money. So are you saying that at times Nigerians are just naturally lazy?
Okay, so I think to that it's a two-way thing, to be fair. I understand that we have some lazy youth. I mean,
it's not just youth. We should not be putting our youth.
Okay, we have some lazy Nigerians.
Yes, we have some lazy Nigerians in this country. Let's be fair.
But you would agree with me that most of these problems are actually the youth empowering it. To be fair, I mean, was it not on Monday where we had the whole political talk? You heard what our guest said. Behind these people that are ruling us, they are smart youth giving them the logic, giving them the answers.
Yeah, but I stand to defend the youth. I still stand to defend the youth to say, even if there are smart people helping them out, and then they do the work, and they tell them, so, sorry, Mr. Minister, this is what you're supposed to do. Mr. Minister said, no, I don't want to do it. Will you force him? And at the end of the day, I'm still going to stand on the fact that, no, it's not just a youth problem. We blame youth and youth and youth and youth and youth in this country. It's not a youth problem. It is a general problem. Everybody, old, wise, young, smart, name it.
Dumb.
I mean, I'm still standing for it.
No, I agree with you, Joy. Rounding up, right, I agree. But I just feel like if I'm to end on this, welfare policies would only work in a country like Nigeria, where, number one, it's properly implemented, and two, if it's given to certain persons and not all sector, to be fair. Sincerely, it's weird. It's weird.
I like try and error, so we might as well try it and see where it will work.
It's weird. And yes, if it's shared too, both for the private sector and again, the government should know what they are supposed to do, like taking care of the whole government parastatals, like the hospital, the schools, and all of that. I feel like with those things well implemented, Nigeria will be better. So yes, I mean, I've had an interesting conversation, and I'm very sure Joy did. Joy, thank you so much for this.
I didn't have to.
We shake the table.
I shake the table without arguing. Only can you hear yourself?
Okay, allow me to rest. I don't know.
I miss that girl. I sure would have. I should be like, no, Joy, I don't agree with you on that. I think that the Nigerian government can actually do the best. I'm like, okay.
Oh my God. So yes, interesting one right here. We'll be going on a short break, and when we come back, we'll be diving straight to the book review. Please stay with us. Thanks for staying with us. So yes, this is the book review segment. The book to be reviewed today is 48 Laws of Power, authored by Robert Greene. If you've been following us, you know that we've been on this book for like how many weeks now. So yes, I'll be taking the 39th law, which is stir up waters to catch fish. Now, always stay calm and objective, right? When you get angry, you lost control. But if you can make your enemies angry, you gain an advantage. So what this place is saying is, actually when it says always stay calm and objective, it is, I feel like it's a very hard thing for certain people to do, you know. Once something happened, they want to flame up. Now, there's something I've learned, there's something I've learned recently, and I'm literally applying it, all thanks to 48 Laws of Power, Robert Greene. Well done, sir. What I've learned so far, and I'm applying it, is for wherever I find myself, for any space I find myself, I stay calm. I'm always the talking person. You already know now. I'm always the talking person. I'm very hyper, right? But I feel like with time, I've learned to stay on. Even when sometimes people feel like, oh, are you angry? But I'm not. I'm just observing the room. So Robert Greene the book would help you for those, if you're in power, it will help you stay in power. You know, I've learned it so much that after everybody has spoken, they now want to, everybody now wants to hear what God's beauty has to say. And tell me, guess what? For every time you're not saying something, what you're saying is making sense because you've taken your time to observe, you're taking your time to study. You're taking your time to observe the room. Oh, this is what this person is coming with. This is what the person has said. This is what this person has said. Now you're cracking your head on, okay, what am I saying that should be different? You know? Everybody has made all their noise and you're like, okay, when everybody's done, and everybody's like, I got to say, we have not spoken. What do you want to add to this? And I'm like, oh, okay, this is how I think we should do it. This is how I think. And okay, I'll share. You know? So Robert Greene will teach you a whole lot. This is me saying in spaces where People will always make you angry. That's humans for you. But it is not your time to stay put. Look at this person that even made you angry in the first place. Just stay on your own. Now push it to them that, okay, this is how I think it should be. Guess what? When the person would see you will not see you in a totally different light. So, I mean, go and read Robert Greene.
Absolutely.
Laws of Power. Go and read it.
Absolutely.
So let's hear yours, Jerry.
So when I opened my laws this morning, I laughed. And the reason why I laughed was, I wasn't supposed to take it, but I mean, I just had to take it.
Yeah.
The 40th law that states despise the free lunch.
Okay.
And this is just speaking to what we talked about in the conversation today. Well, before I do that, let me say what the law states. Now, what is offered for free is dangerous. It usually involves either a trick or a hidden obligation. What has worth is worth paying for. By paying your own way, you stay clear of gratitude, guilt, and deceit. It is often wise to pay the full price. There is no cutting corners with excellence. Be lavish with your money and keep it circulating, but generosity is a sign and a magnet of power. Now, this is where we get to say about welfare power, who should use it, who should not use it. And then I remember that I mentioned that welfare policies, not power now, pardon me.
I get you.
Welfare policies should be made open to all sectors and all ramifications of human being in Nigeria, so long as you're a citizen. But I did say it that if I need free healthcare service and I get to see that this place is already crowded, I might as well just go and pay for it because I know I can afford it.
Definitely.
This now brings me to the things that Nigeria do a lot. When you hear one bed, you hear party, you just entirely wash up your pots, your plates, your pan, everything. Your kitchen will be sparkling clean because you feel like that party is going to feed you for the next 1 week. So how do you stand to authoritatively talk to somebody and think the person will listen to you? You would always want to feel obligated to the person. There's this guilt that I owe it to you because you give me this. I owe myself to you because you provide me with this. I owe myself. But when you stand your ground to say, I could buy this for myself, I could do this for myself, I don't need you to do this for me, I would do it myself. And the person will be like, okay, so she really doesn't need me to do anything. And this is what I've said about dating in Nigeria. Please, my ladies, you don't need to say you would be broke once you have a man. Nah. He's not going to respect you, I promise. He will not respect you. For you to earn that respect, you can tell him, with or without you, I can buy my hair. With or without you, I could do my jewelries. With or without you, I could take care of myself. I bet you the man will respect you down to earth. Down to earth. Because you're like, what kind of lady is this? So please, despise free lunch. It's not every time that after Emmy urgent suki. Sometimes get the urgent suki for yourself. And that's how you continue to stay in the place of power. Thank you.
Okay, so I mean, today's conversation has actually been a very insightful one. Big thanks to all our viewers out there. Thank you so much for tuning in. Like, I mean, I feel like you definitely would have learned a lot because I did, So tune in again tomorrow for another awesome discussion, full with even more wisdom. Of course, joy is here, wisdom is here, don't worry. Wisdom is here, don't worry. So yes, remember to catch Weight Prime at 8 p.m. where laughter and learning, come together. So from me and my awesome baddie, it's goodbye for now. We can't wait to chat with you again tomorrow. So until then, stay informed, stay curious, stay inspired, and stay tuned. See you tomorrow. Bye.